Hello, we are In Flames and you're watching Berlin Metal TV.
Today we've got a great opportunity to sit next to In Flames. Hi guys, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm pretty fine, how about you both?
I'm perfect, thank you.
Me too.
We're here in Berlin. Berlin for you is a pretty good known place because you decided to record your new album Siren Charmes in Berlin in the famous Hansa studios. Tell me about why you have chosen the Hansa studios.
Our singer Anders suggested it to us. He's the biggest studio nerd kind of all of us, and we all knew about it, but he was the guy who actually read about it and thought that this would fit our purposes really well. Previously we recorded in Gothenburg at our own studio.
In your own studio?
Yeah, but we sold that, so we needed to go somewhere else, and the Hansa studio with all its artists that's been there, it seemed perfect, and it seemed perfect to get away from the city and to actually go somewhere and focus 100% on the actual recording and be part of Hansa history too.
And it's a pretty magical place because artists like Iggy Pop and David Bowie recorded albums there.
Exactly.
Is Siren Charmes kind of a magical album for you?
I think every album is magical. It's every time we make a new record, we try to top ourselves from the last one. Try to make something that's even better, that we can walk away with and feel very proud of. So every album is magical, but obviously the freshest one is going to be the best one.
Okay, and I read that it took only 6 weeks to record the album, and the other albums before took more longer. Why 6 weeks?
On the previous albums we had our own studio, as Peter said, and we sold it, obviously. So on the two previous albums, we could spend like 4 or 5 months if we wanted to. As
much time as you wanted to.
Yeah, but I think we need a deadline to get it done. So we set a deadline, and we had 6 weeks. We thought it was enough, and we needed some time pressure, and it ended up great.
Is pressure good for writing songs?
Well, the songs were mostly written when they came in. The arrangement was made more in the studio. I think pressure can be good. It depends obviously what kind of person you are, but for us it's definitely good to have a last date. Before this we need to be ready, and you have this long for drums, this long for guitar and bass and such. And I think it's for us it worked really well.
I'm asking because I read that Anders broke down when the record was done. So maybe pressure isn't that good?
I think, not to comment on that really, but I think that it had to do with other stuff as well. We all have so much stuff on the side that we do, and sometimes you just need to take 5 minutes for yourself, and that's something everybody should do, not work all the time.
Okay. Tell me something about Siren Charmes. What is new? What is new for you? What do you think, especially for yourself, about the new record?
I think we're in it all the time. So for us, it's not something new. It's something that we naturally evolved into. Anders sings much more clean vocals on this one because he got better at singing. It's his instrument, and the more you practice, the better you get. And he wanted to experiment with that, and as did we as well. All of us got better, and I think we just evolve in between each record, and whatever comes out. And I think it's easier to sit from the outside and listen to it and tell us what's different and stuff like that, because we don't really see it that way.
And how much have you guys done on the record? Because you said that the songs already were finished.
Well, Björn writes all the songs, all the riffs, and then we put it together as a group as far as the arrangement goes. I think the whole record, the music is always like a group effort, though, even though he writes all the riffs.
Okay. So, and talking about Berlin, you were here for 6 weeks. Could you discover Berlin? Is there anything new for you? Could you party out all the day?
For me personally, I started to record the drums, and I had 2 weeks to do it. And as we said, it was kind of time pressure, so I had really long days. Me and Roberto, the producer, worked for 12-14 hours. So I basically just saw the studio and the walk I had back and forth from where we stayed. And then I took a break and went back home. And I came and visited later, and then I discovered Berlin. But while I was working, I just saw the studio, actually.
How about you guys?
Well, I did kind of the same thing as Daniel. I came down for the first week, and then I went home for some time, and then I came back and recorded the bass and went home for some time. And I went out a little bit. I went to some shows and some restaurants and stuff like that. But I think Björn is the guy who really discovered Berlin. He walked around.
So I'm pretty often at Sage Club. Do you know this?
Yeah. But you walked around too.
Yeah. I walked around a lot. I was here almost the whole period. To be honest, I think this. Always been curious about soul and funk music from 70s, and I found a record store right across the street from where we lived in Kreuzberg.
Okay.
Awesome record store. So I went out to buy some soul and funk, Curtis Mayfield and stuff like that. So I actually discovered that kind of music here in Berlin.
And could you discover any Berlin metal bands or metal shows?
Well, I didn't go to anything local. I went to a Dark Tranquility show, and they're from Gothenburg. You know. But I'm sure there's lots of good German bands. I wouldn't know which ones comes from Berlin and such, but there's lots of great bands.
I will tell you afterwards.
Yeah.
Okay, and this fall you're going on tour with Woven War, which is pretty much the same like As I Lay Dying, and While She Sleeps. Why did you choose those two bands?
Well, we get a lot of bands presented for us, and then we obviously see if it's a good idea, if we like it. And we've toured with As I Lay Dying guys before, and now that they have a new band, it's nice to bring them on. They're good friends, and it's nice to help them out with their new band. And While She Sleeps, I have no personal relationship to. They were recommended by someone, and it's always important to make an evening that's enjoyable for the audience, you know, so that they can like all the bands. It's nice to have a little mix of genres on there, and it's nice to make a good package.
And when I heard When the World Explodes, I heard some female vocals. Who's this girl or the woman, and will we see her on tour?
Her name is Emilia. She's a Swedish opera singer. I don't know too much of that genre, but from what I understood is that she's very famous in her genre, in her style. And the song was originally recorded with Anders' vocal, but he wanted something different. So the guy who produced Anders, Daniel Bergstrand, had a suggestion. I think he worked with her before or something. So they sang her parts and played it to us, and it sounded great. And we might bring her out, you know, on a show or two, but she's not going to go on tour with us.
Okay. That would be special. I would love to see it. So then, thank you guys. Have a great release and party on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.